I am a 44-year-old man, and I strongly suspect that my 38-year-old wife may have been unfaithful a couple of years ago. I tried to forget it, but lately I cannot get it out of my head. I want to be clear that these are only suspicions. I have no conclusive proof, and I know there could be other explanations. That is exactly why I never confronted her directly. At the time, my wife often went out with a group of friends. One of them was recently divorced and openly talked about her new, very active sex life. I was never bothered by my wife going out with them. I was not particularly jealous, and those nights felt completely normal. One night, she went out with that group, as she had many times before. She returned much later than usual, around 4 or 5 in the morning, and had clearly drunk too much. I was in bed and heard her stumbling into things, so I got up to check on her. The moment she saw me, she came straight over, hugged me, and started crying intensely. I immediately thought something terrible had happened to her. I tried to calm her and repeatedly asked what was wrong, but every time I pressed, she cried harder and refused to explain anything. Infidelity never crossed my mind. I thought she had argued with someone, experienced something upsetting, or was simply emotional because of the alcohol. Because she was drunk and I did not want to pressure her, I let it go and we went to sleep. The trouble started the next day. Once she had calmed down, I asked again what had happened. She said she had become sad because she missed her family, since she is from another country. At first, I accepted that explanation. But as the days passed, the memory kept returning. If she was simply homesick, why could she not say that when I asked? Why did she cry even harder every time I tried to understand? I know intoxicated people can behave irrationally, but it seemed strange that something so simple to explain had caused such an extreme reaction. Even so, I decided not to investigate. I had no evidence, and I did not want to turn an uncomfortable feeling into an accusation. But another detail became more significant over time. After that night, she practically stopped going out with that group. In particular, she distanced herself from the recently divorced friend. They had been close, and then suddenly they stopped seeing each other. My wife never mentioned an argument or explained why they had drifted apart. It simply happened. The timing was what troubled me. She came home near dawn, drunk and crying, refused to explain, and then immediately distanced herself from everyone who had been there. That sequence made me wonder whether something had happened that night that she never told me. Eventually, I managed to put the matter behind me. I did not ask again, and for a long time, I barely thought about it. Then, a few months ago, something brought everything back. The divorced friend contacted my wife and suggested meeting. Little by little, they began rebuilding their friendship. Since then, I have run into that woman a couple of times, and this is the most subjective part. Whenever I am around her, I get a strange feeling that she knows something about my wife that I do not. She has never said anything specific or done something I could call proof. Maybe I am interpreting every expression through the lens of my existing suspicions. I am fully aware that I could be seeing signs that are not there. But after burying the matter for years, I cannot stop replaying that night. My wife arriving home at 5 in the morning, completely drunk, hugging me and bursting into tears, refusing to say what happened, giving an explanation the next day that never completely convinced me, and then immediately distancing herself from the people she had been with that night. I do not want to accuse my wife of cheating based only on intuition, especially after so much time has passed. But continuing to ignore it does not seem healthy either, because I clearly never forgot. I keep wondering whether the sequence of events is genuinely suspicious, or whether I am connecting unrelated facts, because uncertainty has had years to grow in my mind. Does my suspicion sound reasonable, or am I creating a story from a drunken, emotional night, a friendship that faded, and a feeling I cannot prove?